Space Marine 2 is the kind of game that makes you feel like you just shot up a bunch of watched a couple Sam Sulik videos, you hop into your 8-cylinder Camaro as you take a turn as hard as you possibly can, and your car flips a few times and it might crash into a couple households on the street and demolish a couple family homes, but in the end you hop out like a f***ing Space Marine, hopped up on and ready to demolish those disgusting Xeno. That's what Space Marine 2 makes you feel like, but as of its current path, it seems like they might make a similar mistake as Helldivers 2. At least this is what a lot of people are worried about right now. I don't think that they'll take this path. I think they know not to take this path, especially since they themselves, and when I say they themselves, I'm speaking of the developers are fans of Space Marines. They're fans of Warhammer 40,000. Now when I say they might make the same mistake as Helldivers 2, what am I talking about? What am I referring to? Well, I'm referring to when Helldivers 2 blew up and too many people were enjoying it. Anyways, what I'm referring to is when in Helldivers 2 they decided to nerf all the weapons in the game. Now I understand wanting to balance a game, but in a game where it's horde based and it's a power fantasy role, and the whole point of the game is that satisfying feeling of demolishing the enemy, why would you destroy that weapon? Why would you diminish the weapon that makes the game fun to begin with? That doesn't make any sense. So I personally am on the team on Space Marine 2 that says don't nerf the game, buff the game. That's why they're adding a 5th level of difficulty, and who's to say they can't go in and add some debuffs to the already existing difficulties. So yes, maybe the classes and weapons get buffed, but then they add some debuffs to the harder difficulties. That way you can decide what perk tree should I take for this mission with these debuffs. What weapons should I use to counter the enemies I will come across, or to work alongside my teammates? We should still have that power fantasy role being fulfilled, while at the same time still being able to have a challenge. This is obviously a hard thing to balance, and this is something that the devs have, I think they have almost nailed perfectly. I think there are some fine tweaking things that can change, but as of right now, the game feels amazing. And this is true because recently Helldivers 2 went through the game and buffed all the weapons that they could think of. And when they did this, the player base did spike. A lot of players decided to come back and give the game another try. This is living proof that players just want a fun game. Do they want a challenging game? Yes, but they want to feel powerful and strong with the decisions they make, with the classes they build. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna go ahead and read a few testimonies from some players in Helldivers 2. The developers seem to think nerfing everything is the solution, despite it being a PvE game. It's just unnecessary and frustrating. Continuous nerfs after multiple patches are making the game less enjoyable, especially with so many bugs still present. The Breaker Incendiary was fine, but now it feels weak and pointless with the increased recoil and fewer magazines. Again, these are testimonies from players in Helldivers 2, not Space Marine 2. But the point I'm trying to make is, let's avoid Space Marine 2 making the same mistake. Now, I understand Helldivers 2 and Space Marine 2 are very similar games, but I'm not trying to say these games are identical. That's not the moral of my message here. I'm not saying these games are copies of each other, because a lot of people are saying that, and it's just not true. If you have played both games, or at least seen, I've never played Helldivers 2, because I don't have a PlayStation, but if you look at both games, they are different. The gameplay style is the same. They are horde-based games, and you're fighting aliens, but the way the game is structured is completely different. With the war-style mode on Helldivers 2 and the class building on Helldivers 2 versus Space Marine 2 having a campaign PvE and PvP, and all of them are separate when you customize your character. Not to mention, I don't know if it's a class-based system in Helldivers 2, but it is in Space Marine 2. Again, I'm not a Helldivers player, so I don't know about that. But the moral of the story is to not make the same mistake of nerfing the player. You want the player to feel powerful. Again, I'm not complaining about the current meta of the game. I do think certain things can be tweaked, but what I'm saying is if they start nerfing things, that is the absolute wrong way to go. Nothing should be nerfed. If anything needs to be tweaked, things need to be buffed. And the reason I'm making this video is because I love this game. This game is so fun. I am absolutely in love with it. I'm having such a great time with it, and it was worth it. It was well $100 spent because I got like the deluxe edition or something. It was worth the money. I do not regret it. I'm excited for the future of this game, and I'm so excited for the DLC, and I'll have some more videos pumping out sooner or later. I got some videos I'm working on about the DLCs coming out, some of the things that the developers have been talking about. But yeah, I'm absolutely excited for the future of this game. Am I nervous and worried? Sometimes a little bit. At the end of the day, I'm really excited for this game because the core gameplay is there. It is there. The game is so satisfying. If you haven't given this game a try, as soon as you got that $70, give this game a try. I'm telling you.